In this lesson, we're going to talk about measures of center and how they're related to the shapes of the distributions. When we have a set of data, it can be helpful to summarize it with a single value that represents what's typical in the data set. And this is what's called the measures of center. Now, let's look at the official definition. Measures of center are values that attempt to describe a set of data by identifying the central position within the set. They provide a summary statistic that represents a typical value in the data. So we're going to talk about 3 measures of center in this lesson. We have the mean, the median, and the mode. The mean is when we say we're going to take an average to find the center of all the values. The mean, which is also known as the arithmetic average, is calculated by summing all the values and then dividing by the number of values. And that's what this equation here means. This fancy symbol, this Greek letter right here, this is called sigma, and that's in mathematics used to indicate a sum. So that symbol is saying add up all the data values and then divide by the number of data values. So this is what we're most familiar with when we're talking about averages. Now, the median, that is the middle value when the data is ordered from least to smallest. And so we also know this as the 50th percentile. So we can also label it P50. The last measure of center, or the average, that we're going to talk about in this class is called the mode. The value or the values that occur most frequently in a data set. You would have one mode. You could have more than one mode, or you could have no mode. Typically, we have one mode, but the special cases are when you have no mode or multi-modes. All right, we're going to walk through 3 examples on how to find the mean, median, and mode. And then I'm going to show you how you can check your answers on GeoGebra. So for each data set, we're going to find mean, median, and mode by hand. All right, in the first example, it says the following data represents the number of daily water bottles used in different office departments. To find the mean, that's the mean that we're familiar with, where we add up all the values and then we divide by the number of values that we have. So add all the values and then divide by n. In this case, n is 15 because we have 15 data values. And if I add up all of these values, 1 plus 2 plus 2, etc., we're going to get 76. And then we have to divide by 15, which is our n, so that we divide by the number of values. And then when I take 76 divided by 15, I get approximately 5.07 when we round it to 2 places. Now, to find the median, remember that is the 50th percentile. So if I want to know the position in which the value that splits the data in half is located, I use this formula. This is back from our percentile lesson. All right, so my 50th percentile means that K is 50. So we have 50 over 100, which is 0.5, and then I'm going to multiply it by 16. That's n is 15 plus 1 is 16. Now when I do that, I get 8. So that means the median is in the 8th position when the data is ordered from smallest to largest. And it is already ordered that way, so we just have to count out to the 8th position. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 8th position is 5. So we can say the median is equal to 5. That means 50% of the data is approximately less than 5, and 50% of the data is more than 5. All right, now let's find the mode. The mode is the value that occurs the most. Now, when I look at all the data values, I have 3 2s and I have 3 6s. Those are the 2 values that occur the most frequently. So in this case, we have that there are 2 modes, 2 and 6. Our last example for mean, median, and mode, example 3, we have the following data shows the number of hours people spent on hobbies over the weekend. So first, to find the mean, we're going to add up all the data values and then divide by the number of data values that we have. In this case, we have 14 values. And when I add up all of those data values, we're going to get 78. And we divide by 14, that's our n. And when we divide that, we get approximately 5.57 when we round it to 2 places. To find our median, now we have a different number of data values than the previous 2 examples. We have 14 instead of 15. So when I find the position for the 50th percentile, or the median, I'm going to take 50 over 100 and multiply by n, which is 14, and add 1. So I'm going to multiply by 15. All right, when we do that, we get 7.5. So that means the median is between the 7th and 8th position. So these are already in order for us, so I just have to count out to the 7th and 8th position. So the 7th and 8th position are 5 and 6. So I want to take the midpoint between 5 and 6. Now that we can do off the top of our head, the midpoint between 5 and 6 is 5.5. But to practice working it out, so you remember how to do this, I would take 5 plus 6 and divide by 2. That would give me 11 divided by 2, which is 5.5. Now, to find the mode, we look to see what data value appears the most in the data list. It appears that 8 occurs most frequently. Everything else appears less than 3 times, and 8 appears 3 times. So the mode in this case will be 8. Now, let me show you how to check your answer in GeoGebra. I have my data sets preloaded in here. My data set from example 1 is in column A, and example 2 is in column B, and example 3 is in column C. So pause the video for a moment and make sure you get your data values in there from each data set. So to get started, you want to highlight your data values. Click on the bar graph icon and choose one variable analysis. Then you come over here and you press the sigma icon so that you can access the statistics for that highlighted list. And then your statistics come up. We have, for example 1, we have 15 values. And our mean is 5.0667, which we rounded to 5.07 to 2 places. Then if we scroll down a little bit further, you can see in the 5-number summary, we have our 50th percentile, and we have our median is 5. Now, the value for the mode doesn't come up in this list, but if you want to double check your mode, all you need to do is go into your area where you type your commands and type mode for your command, and then choose this option here where it says list of numbers, And you put in, just like when you sort, you put in where your start and your end values are. So I'm going to use capital A1, that's where my data set starts, colon, and then capital A15, and I hit enter, and it tells me that in this case I have two modes, 2 and 6. Typically modes are pretty easy unless you have a large data set. Modes are going to be pretty easy to just find by eyeballing the data set, but if you have a large data set and you want to double check, this is how you can do it. Now let's check our answers for the second example. So now I'm going to go to my list B. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to choose the one variable analysis to switch over to this data set. And then I'm going to choose my icon here with the sigma notation to show my statistics. This tells me I have 15 values. This tells me that my mean is 8 and my median is 8. Oh, by the way, while I have this pulled up, see the sigma x, that's all your values added up. So that's a way you can check to make sure you added your data values correctly as well. So our mean and our median are correct from what we did by hand. Now let's double check the mode. So I'm going to type mode. I'm going to choose list of numbers, and I'm going to put in my start value for the second data set is B1, colon, and then my last value is B15. And I'm going to hit enter. And you can see for the data set in example 2, this is how GeoGebra shows that there's no mode. It just gives you blank braces, so there's no mode shown. Let's check our answers for the third example now. I'm going to highlight my data. I'm going to click the icon for the bar chart and then choose one variable analysis. And then I'm going to choose show statistics. So in this case, we have 14 data values. That shows it there with the N. Our mean is 5.57 when we rounded it to 2 places. The sum of all of our data values was 78. And our median we found was 5.5. So let's check the mode for our last data set. For this data set, it starts at C1. So I'm going to use capital C1, and then it goes down to the last value of C14. And in this case, it tells me my mode is one single value, which is 8.